Hello, and welcome to Detroit Information Station, your one-stop shop for community and world awareness. Detroit Information Station was created to provide ever-changing updates to the residents of Detroit City and Metro Detroit. Information Station will also provide political crime outlook, world issue awareness, and everyday updates on Detroit neighborhood happenings. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to receive all post notifications. And without further ado, let's move forward. Detroit has been known for its infamous death rate and crime life for over a decade. As of 2018, Detroit had the third highest murder rate among major cities in the U.S., coming third after St. Louis and Baltimore, 10 times the coverage rate of the suburban counties of Metro Detroit, which have violent crime rates below the national average of 394 deaths per 100,000 residents. Commonly known in the Detroit area are many known gangs and gang activities that ravage the city neighborhoods and surrounding areas. It is said that Detroit's crime rates are among the highest in the U.S., and the vast areas of the city are in a state of severe urban decay with poverty, crime, shootings, drugs, and gang affiliation. Detroit and its peers seem to have a list of ongoing issues. Detroit's demographic character, which is largely poor and black residents, was an early result of government engineering. A mixture of urban renewal, subsidized highways, and discriminatory loan policies pushed the majority of Caucasians to the suburbs and kept black people the majority in the city. With organized crime on the rise came a rivalry between two well-known gangs, the 7 Mile Bloods and the Hustle Boys, now known as 4-2. It seems that these two gangs and the beefs stem back to up to 15 years of hate, death, revenge, and vengeance. The 7 Mile Bloods often beef with gangs spread across the east side, including the Hustle Boys, 4-2, Gutter Hog, Max Out, Savage, and 6 Mile Cheddar Grove. It is even said that these gangs often clicked up in an effort to rid or take out members of the 7 Mile Bloods, often being unsuccessful. It seems the 7 Mile Bloods dominated the gang life until one encounter on a summer day in 2014 between rival gang members at a state parole office on Detroit's west side. On July 14, 2014, then 23-year-old twin brothers Michael and Martez Davis arrived at the Lawton Parole Office for a parole meeting. The Davis brothers also go by the name 4-2 Twins and have rap videos on YouTube. The twins would cross paths with the rival gang member Billy Arnold from the 7 Mile Bloods. By coincidence, Arnold had also been scheduled to meet with his parole agent, and after seeing the twin brothers, called other members of the 7 Mile Blood gang, including member Corey Bailey, aka Sonny, so they could confront the rival gang. Meanwhile, the twins hopped into a nearby car with two other Hustle Boy members, one being DeJuan F. Page, and proceeded to leave the Lawton Parole Office. The Hustle Boys drove 4 miles before reaching the intersection of Grand River and Oakland Boulevard. As the 7 Mile Bloods followed close behind and pulled alongside the Hustle Boys' car, Arnold and Bailey allegedly leaned out the car window and opened fire. Michael Davis was struck in the chest. More bullets hit Page in the left eye and upper body. After the shooting had stopped, Page was able to flag down a social worker on their way back to work, Silhouette O'Neal, which they asked for a ride to the hospital. Accounts recalled by O'Neal was that she was afraid and initially wouldn't look at Page. She stated that she screamed upon looking at him and that all she saw was an eyeball out of the socket, she testified. Page was alive barely and lingered in a coma for several weeks before passing. He was 22 years old. After the events on the day of July 14, 2014, Billy Arnold was said to have told someone about the shooting. Derek Kennedy, aka Dip, whom would later testify on stand about the conversation and details of the shooting after multiple other events took place, and multiple members of the 7 Mile Bloods were ultimately picked up due to tips from ex-7 Mile gang members, victims, and rival gang members from the Hustle Boys, aka 4-2. Michael Davis, who survived the shooting, testified twice in secret in front of a grand jury. In a clip that was released by the court, you will hear Michael Davis of the twins identify Billy Arnold and Corey Bailey as the people who shot up the car, stated by Assistant U.S. Attorney Christopher Graveline. Martez Davis also survived the shooting and was charged in a separate federal gun case in August. Prosecutors had recently promised jurors during the first round of trials in January that they would hear from another key witness. It was a promise the prosecutors would not be able to keep. The promise that Michael Davis would sit on the witness stand and identify 7 Mile Blood members in a fatal shooting was broken quickly, and on March 8th, Davis defied U.S. District Judge George Karam Steed's order to testify. Davis stepped down from the witness stand and was indicted for refusing to testify about who shot him and DeJuan Page. Page's death is what caused an alliance between gangs throughout the east side of Detroit, aiming for revenge against the 7 Mile Bloods. Not long after Page died, 10 photos of the 7 Mile Blood members were posted via Instagram. A hit list, as stated by the prosecutor, photos included 7 Mile Blood members Corey Bailey and Billy Arnold, was posted on an account under the name All Headshots. Over time, this hit list would prove fatal as members of the 7 Mile Bloods were targeted. Donnell Hendricks, a.k.a. Hardwork Jig, who was charged in the federal case, was shot in August of 2014 at Eastland Center Mall. Jason Gill, a.k.a. Whites, was killed the following February. Michael Rogers, a.k.a. Smoke, was also shot 18 times in March of 2015 but survived. Do the 7 Mile Bloods call the police? U.S. Justice Department trial attorney Julie Falacho stated, "No, they go out hunting." The rivals were hunting also. On May 1st, 2015, 7 Mile Blood member Devon McClure, a.k.a. Block, was riding in a blue Ford Crown Victoria on Detroit's east side around 1:15 p.m. McClure neared the intersection of Hayes and Houston Whittier. A tan-colored SUV pulled alongside McClure and shots were fired. Bullets scattered windows in McClure's car, flattened tires, and struck McClure several times, killing him. He was 27 years old. McClure's death remains unsolved murder. Hours after the death of McClure, members of the 7 Mile Bloods vowed to get revenge on their rivals for the murders of McClure and other gang members. Billy Arnold proceeded with a rain of bullets as he targeted rival gang member Raphael Carter, who was walking with his daughters. Allegedly, Arnold leaned out the front passenger window and fired multiple shots from an AK-57 style rifle. The first shot struck Carter and severed his spine, instantly paralyzing him. Carter was shot again 6 more times. Carter was have said to not seen the shooter and his daughters were unharmed. Carter was shot for one reason, prosecutors said. He was known to hang out with Peasy. Peasy is Detroit rapper Philip Peaks, who was linked to the 6 Mile Cheddar Grove gang and Team Eastside. It is said that Billy Arnold had help finding rival gang members from friends, and on May 8, 2015, the day of McClure's funeral at 5:44 p.m., had tracked down more members of the rival gang near Denby High School, southeast of the Red Zone. Bernice Griffin, a neighbor, sitting on her porch near the intersection of Dutchess Avenue and Craft Street, watching her grandchildren play, says she saw a Pontiac G6 pulling nearby driveway a few homes down. The Pontiac G6 carried 3 members of the Maple Ridge Boys, another rival Eastside gang, allegedly. Devontae Little Roberts rode in the front seat, and his brother Dario Roberts sat in the back with Marquise Wicker. Witnesses say a gray Chrysler 300 pulled alongside the Pontiac G6 and multiple shots were fired. Marquise Wicker was struck 9 times in the arm, chest, neck, back, and thumb. One bullet struck 19-year-old Devontae Little Roberts in the left side of the head, lacerated the brain, and exited through his temple. Dario Roberts was also shot in the head and survived, and Wicker was in critical condition for several days. After Devontae Roberts was killed, the 7 Mile Bloods Instagram page posted a photo of the dead teenager and a caption that included 3 laughing emojis and the words "got him." Investigators found shell casings on the scene that matched the AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle used in the Raphael Carter shooting, according to court records. However, investigators could not find the rifle in which they would spend all summer looking for. On Mother's Day, 2015, 2 days after the murder of Devontae Roberts, the 7 Mile Bloods continued to hunt for rivals, prosecutors alleged. Billy Arnold and another member of the 7 Mile Blood gang tracked down another rival gang member at an intersection on State Fair in Hoover, just west of the Red Zone. The two gunmen approached a black Chevy Impala and opened fire, spraying 64 bullets, including more than 3 dozen rounds from the same AR-15 style rifle. Hustle Boy member Darnell Kennedy, whose photo appeared on the IG hit list posted by the 7 Mile Bloods, was driving the Impala. The bullets missed him, but wounded another Hustle Boy member in the vehicle. A month later, Kennedy was at a Roseville banquet center celebrating the birth of his baby. Billy Arnold shot up the baby shower. This time, the bullets didn't miss Kennedy, and round 1 struck a bystander. Another round hit Kennedy in the leg. It went in and went straight out, Kennedy testified. 3 months later, after the baby shower incident in September 2015, federal agents made a breakthrough in the 7 Mile Bloods investigation at the Crazy Horse Strip Club on Detroit's southwest side. The gang was supposed to be at the club celebrating the life of member Devon McClure, aka Block. Dubbed as Block Day, the party was promoted on Instagram. FBI Violent Gang Task Force spotted the post and hatched an operation. Investigators were also said to have been monitoring text messages between 7 Mile Blood members Billy Arnold and Eugene Fisher the night of the party. As the strip club party reached far into the early morning, task force investigators conducted surveillance around the Crazy Horse. Prosecutors say several gang members and associates were spotted arriving at the club, including Arnold. Investigators watched as Arnold and another ex-member of the 7 Mile Bloods left the club in a blue 2002 Chevy Trailblazer with an Ohio license plate. The car was stolen. Investigators tried to stop the vehicle. A chase with the speeds topping 115 miles per hour doing eastbound Interstate 94 ended in a wreck on the ramp to southbound Interstate 75. Subscribe to this channel and receive notification posts to stay updated, and look out for part 2 of Gang Rivalry Part 2.
They happen to side themselves with people who are affiliated with the 7 Mile Bloods. And one of the exhibits that I provided to the court was exhibit number 9, which is an exhibit that is an exchange of communications between this defendant, 42 Twins, and a gentleman that goes by the name of 47 Entertainment. 47 Entertainment was an individual by the name of Mel, M-E-L, who nicknamed him Mel. Mel was killed last week in a drive-by shooting on I-94 in the area of I-94 in Illinois. Mel was in a vehicle with a female. That vehicle was riddled with 52 gunshots from an AK-style weapon. That's determined both by the bullets that were recovered from the vehicle and the shell casings found littering the scene in this case. Prior to the murder of Mel and his girlfriend, there was an ongoing dispute, a rap dispute, between this individual, Mr. Davis, and Mel. I highlight all of this because Mr. Davis is a suspect in this homicide. When he was interviewed post-Miranda after his arrest in this case from August 8th, he was interviewed specifically on this issue, on whether or not he was, in fact, involved with this homicide. Mr. Davis's position post-Miranda was, frankly, he was not there. He was at his mother's house. It was his mother's birthday. He was nowhere near. Michigan State Police, who's the agency that's investigating this case, has evidence that shows otherwise, that he was actually, in fact, in the area. And Mr. Steingold, to his credit, asked me precisely, was he in the area at the time of the shooting? I do not have an exact answer for that. And the reason I don't is because I'm not integrally involved with the homicide yet. That is not what we were focused on, but I was trying to gather information as I could. But the information I was told is that their evidence has him in the area of the club.
attempts to make the turn onto I-75. It almost crashes into a van and another panel truck that were in the two far rightmost lanes. At that time, you can see the Trailblazer attempt to make the ramp onto I-75. Because of its speed, it could not, and it went up onto the embankment, at which time its two front tires were deflated. They erupted at that point. The police were not that far behind. They pulled up almost immediately onto the vehicle. And on the video, you see Mr. Arthur running away from the driver's side door.